Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Gene Edwards. You are watching LUBED for December the 29th, 2022, as I give you a preview of the Edmonton Oilers Seattle Kraken matchup that will take place tomorrow night. I'm back. I did not do the Calgary review. We all know what happened there. I was away for the holiday for a little bit, but I am back, and I am going to be dividing up the program now. I am going to be doing my reviews on the day of the game or after the game, just a quick review, and the previews I am going to be doing leading up to that game as I have been doing it. Reason being, I'm just bringing more and more content, and the videos are getting longer and longer, and I want to make it more. I want to keep the time always down so that I'm not taking a whole bunch of your time. It also helps with viewership when you don't have long videos. So we're going to go that route again. So I'm kind of reverting backwards a little bit to what I did last year. Anyway, so let's get into the topic of discussion, which is my thumbnail for this particular episode. And as you noticed, I wrote, is Stuart Skinner starting to get into the Vezina conversation? I would say he is. And now please understand I'm saying Vezina conversation. I'm not saying Vezina contention. I have no belief that he's going to be nominated for the Vezina this year. But what I have seen out of him is a very talented goalie that is improving year after year. And the one thing that he does have that a lot of these elite goaltenders do have, like the Jake Ossinger, the Carey Prices, he has that very calm demeanor. And when you have a calm demeanor, you're also not bouncing around and being too crazy sporadic unless you absolutely have to be in the net. You have usually good positioning and that. So we'll see. He is improving, though. He really is improving by my standards. And I think the Edmonton Oilers are very lucky to have a solid netminer here. And it's a backup, yes. Now let's just hope we can get Jack Campbell on par. Then we might have a pretty good tandem here. But anyway, last night, the Edmonton Oilers held their annual skills competition, and this one was a little bit different. I watched this on Oilers Plus yesterday, and they really went with a different kind of feel for it. So they had this one competition called Chasing McDavid's Time, or what was it called? I'm going to just bring it up here. Can't Catch Connor. That was the event. And what they did on this event is they took a previous skills competition. I think it was from the actual skills competition from a couple years ago, with Connor McDavid going around the rink, and they used that as the guideline for the other skaters. So Connor McDavid actually didn't even compete in this year. It was just kind of strange. Like, they used his previous time from a couple years ago to use a guideline to see if anyone can catch Connor, which no one did. Nima Lion won this one. It was weird. And then they had a pet competition, which is called Rough Relay. And then Connor and his puppy or his dog won this one, which ironically enough. But basically, the player has to go out, skate all these pylons, skate to the pylons, get to the blue line. Then they release the dog to the other side. Usually it's a doggy treat to kind of provoke the dog to come over to the other side, but it didn't work for all the Edmonton Oilers players. So it was interesting, a very interesting and fun night. And it's more for the kids, to be honest with you. It's not by any means a serious note. It's just a fun event. The one thing I took from it, though, is Leon Draisaitl did not participate in that particular event. So hope he's not dealing with an injury, or maybe it was just a maintenance day for him and he just needed the time off. We don't know. So hopefully we'll see him against the Kraken. I haven't heard anything as of yet. When it comes to the Kraken, they've played 3 times against each other. And they've all been high scores, like 5-3, Edmonton at Seattle on the 18th of December, 21. December 3rd, 21, it was a Edmonton at Seattle again. It was 3-4. That's a 7-goal game. And on November 1st, 21, Seattle was in Edmonton for a 5-2 game. So if you're a gambler, right there is a good indicator to bet the over. But I'm not saying either way to do which. But they do seem to be games that have quite a few goals. And that brings me to the trend line. And the reason why I bring that up is because on the trend line it says the Edmonton Oilers are 4-0 in their last 4 games after scoring 2 or less goals in their previous games. So right now the Oilers are playing that. They can win with that tight hockey, but I think they're going to have to win with that loosey-goosey hockey going into this. I think we're going to need. There's going to be a few goals in this game. I'm kind of predicting that. As far as who's going to be in and out for both teams, Ryan Murray, Vander Kane, Mike Smith. Well, Mike Smith is pretty much done for the year. And Philip Broberg are out for the Edmonton Oilers. And when it comes to the Kraken, Dreiger, Donskoy, and Shane Wright. Well, Shane Wright, obviously, he's playing in the World Juniors, so he won't be playing in that game either. Okay, let's break this down, the statistical comparisons going into this game. Seattle's record is 18-11-4. Their home record is 9-7-2. Their last 10, 3-6-1. So they've kind of slowed down a little bit. They did have that little hot stretch there where they went, I think, 11-1-1. And then since then, they've kind of slowed down. And that's the way the NHL goes. They're currently on a 2-game losing streak. Meanwhile, the Oilers, 19-15-2, 10-6-1. They have a better away record than a home record. And they are 5-3-2 in the last 10, winning the last game against Calgary. When it comes to the offensive stats, we'll start with goals. The Edmonton Oilers are... Actually, we'll start off with Seattle. Seattle is 6th in the league with a 3.48. The Edmonton Oilers are tied for 4th with 3.56. Seattle for shots on goal is 23rd in the league at 29.7. The Edmonton Oilers are 13th in the league at 32. Seattle is 20th in the league when it comes to the power play at 21%. The Edmonton Oilers still king of the hill at 32.3. Face-off percentage, Seattle is tied for 30th at 45.4. Meanwhile, the Edmonton Oilers are 16th at 49.6. When it comes to the shooting percentage, Seattle is actually 2nd in the league at that at 11.7. Meanwhile, the Oilers are tied for 6th at 11.1. So pretty close stat there. Defensive stats, when it comes to the goals allowed, Seattle is 18th in the league at 3.21. Meanwhile, the Edmonton Oilers are tied for 21st at 3.39. When it comes to shots on goal allowed, Seattle is very stingy here. This is one area where they really are good at. They are 4th in the league at 28.1. Meanwhile, the Oilers really need improvement on this one at 24. They are 32.9% on that one. So obviously a big, widespread difference there. Penalty minutes, Seattle is 17th in the league at 9.1. Meanwhile, the Oilers are 8th in the league at 8.2. Penalty kill percentage, Seattle is 31st in the league at 69.2. Meanwhile, the Oilers are 26th in the league at 72.5. But we also know that the Oilers have the number 1 power play in the league. So Seattle needs to stay out of the box. Once again, this is a team that has to play discipline, stay out of the box, and you might have a chance. But if you get into the box, knowing that your PK is that bad, you could be in a lot of trouble pretty quick with the Edmonton Oilers. When it comes to the goaltender, Stuart Skinner has a 916. And Martin Jones is an 888. Don't know what he's going to start. Obviously, at some point in time, it's a back-to-back situation, so Campbell will be playing either the Winnipeg game or the Seattle game. Not sure. And I'm out of breath from that. Wow. But that's about all I have for that. One of the new segments I am adding to this channel is the Money Puck playoff predictor for the Edmonton Oilers. So what this is, those of you that don't know what Money Puck is, moneypuck.com is a very elaborate statistical website that uses all sorts of algorithms to calculate all the stuff. I don't even know how they do it, so I'm not even going to attempt to go about it. But there is an algorithm that they have that has, for each team, the chances of making the playoffs, making the second round, making the third round, make the final, win the cup, all that. I'm not going to get into all of that kind of stuff. They even have the lottery picks too. Like, it's pretty crazy. But they do have the one with making the playoffs. And currently they have the Edmonton Oilers at 66% to win or to make the playoffs this year. I've been tracking this for a few days because I just wanted to see before I brought it to the show. And even though they won against Calgary, they actually went down a little bit. They were at 73 point something just a couple days ago. So it all depends on how the other teams do and like I say, it's an algorithm that calculates so many factors. If you allowed a lot of shots on goal, I bet you it calculates that. So right now they got the Edmonton Oilers making the playoffs at 66.6%. And that's kind of creeping a little bit on the low side. But again, the Oilers haven't really proven to be a lights-out spectacular team this year. And then if you want to think of comparison, they got the Boston Bruins at 99.93%. So just to let you know of what they're thinking. But yeah, Money Puck, if you want some elaborate stats, I'm giving them a free plug. I'm not being paid to advertise them at all. But I've used their site quite a bit for various stats. They have some amazing stats if you're a stats guy. You can break it down onto Excel spreadsheets and all that. It all depends on what you need it for. But yeah, really good. Anyway, guys, if you're new to the channel, feel free to hit like, share, and subscribe if you like the content you see. Those of you that have been with me thus far, thank you for continuing to watch with me. And as always, stay healthy, stay happy, stay hydrated. We will talk soon.
Tongue keeps bleeding from the words I spit. So sharp, so freezing, so cold. Behold, frostbite, they feeling.